The Vajont Dam has never failed. It still stands today, completely intact, exactly as engineers built it in 1959. And that is exactly why nearly 2,000 people are dead. The killer here was never the dam at all. Northern Italy, the 1950s. The country is rebuilding after the war, and it desperately needs electricity to grow. Engineer Carlo Semenza designs a dam in the Vajont Gorge, a narrow limestone canyon carved by centuries of water. At 262 meters tall, it will become one of the tallest dams ever built on Earth. A thin double arch of concrete, designed to trap over 168 million cubic meters of water. Construction begins in 1957. SADE, Italy's electricity monopoly, races to finish before the decade is out. In March 1959, at a nearby SADE dam called Ponte Toc, a landslide creates a 20-meter wave. One person dies at Ponte Toc. The warning barely registers. Attention stays fixed on finishing Vajont on schedule. But towering above the Vajont reservoir site sits Monte Toc, a mountain locals had quietly feared for generations. Some called it the Walking Mountain. Its slopes had a long, restless history of sliding without much warning. Carlo hires his own son, Eduardo, a young geologist, to study the ground before the reservoir starts filling. Eduardo finds something unsettling, clear evidence of an ancient landslide, one that looked ready to move again. He brings his father the data, but construction is nearly finished, and the project is already too far along. In 1959, 3 independent experts study the slope. All 3 reach the very same alarming conclusion. German engineer Leopold Müller warns that a landslide here may be, in his own words, beyond human control. SADE hears the warnings and does something else entirely. It finishes the dam anyway, right on schedule. In February 1960, the company gets permission to begin filling the reservoir behind the finished dam. Downstream sit 5 villages that will matter later: Longarone, Pirago, Rivalta, Villanova, and Fahe. By October, water climbs past 170 meters deep, and the mountain begins to answer back. A fracture, over 2 kilometers long, tears open across the slope. Engineers start measuring the ground, creeping daily. 1 month later, 700,000 cubic meters of earth slide into the lake, raising a 2-meter wave. It is a small disaster and a giant warning. Engineers lower the water level and hope the mountain settles. A local journalist named Tina Merlin starts publishing what officials will not say: the mountain is not safe. For telling the truth, Merlin is charged with spreading false news and disturbing the public peace. Quietly, engineers agree to keep the reservoir at least 25 meters below the dam's crest, just in case. The dam keeps filling anyway. Animals on the slope grow restless, abandoning ground they had grazed for years. The company installs an emergency bypass tunnel, just in case the mountain ever really does let go. This is the 3rd landslide warning tied to a SADE dam in just 4 years. Nobody stops the project. 1962. The dam is nationalized, now controlled by Enel, Italy's national electricity authority. For 3 more years, engineers raise and lower the water, searching for some level the mountain would tolerate. Normally, the slope creeps about 1 centimetre every week, barely enough to notice at all. By September of 1963, that creep suddenly accelerates to 25 centimetres every single day. The day before the disaster, the ground is moving a full metre, faster than anyone has ever recorded. The water level has quietly crept above the 25-metre safety buffer engineers thought would protect the dam. Carlo Semenza, the dam's chief engineer, had died in 1961, 2 years before he could see this. October 9th, 1963. Down in Longarone, families sit for dinner, unaware of what is coming. At a nearby pub, locals crowd around a radio, following a soccer match between Real Madrid and Glasgow Rangers. Instruments on the mountain have been recording that ground movement continuously for the past 3 years. High above them, on Monte Toc, the ground has stopped creeping. It has started to move all at once. What took 3 years to slowly creep now takes only minutes left to finish moving completely. At 10:39 that night, 260 million cubic meters of mountain simply give way. The landslide falls for only 45 seconds. Tremors from the impact are felt as far as Vienna. The falling mountain slams into the reservoir, displacing 50 million cubic meters of water almost instantly. 3 walls of water rise at once. One slams into the village of Casso, destroying homes along the shoreline. A second wave tears through Erto. A third climbs 250 meters and pours straight over the dam. The dam itself barely notices. Engineers built it to survive 10 times the force it now absorbs. But the wave that clears the dam falls straight down into the valley, racing toward Longarone below. Downstream, the villages of Pirago, Rivalta, Villanova, and Fay vanish in the same few minutes as Longarone. The water arrives 4 minutes later. Of Longarone's residents caught in its path, 94% do not survive. Only Longarone's town hall and a handful of northern houses remain standing when the water finally recedes. Rescue teams reach the valley to find the main road gone, and almost nothing left to organize a rescue around. SADE and government officials first call it an act of God, an unavoidable tragedy nobody could have foreseen. A government investigation finds otherwise. The danger was documented for years, and the disaster was entirely preventable. In 1968, engineers finally face trial, held far away in the city of L'Aquila. The sentences are light, but the verdict quietly proves that journalist Tina Merlin had been right all along. Survivors are resettled into a brand new town built 50 kilometers away, simply named Vajont in their memory. Some refuse to leave at all, choosing to rebuild their mountain lives in Erto e Casso instead. Today, the dam still stands, empty and unused, its scars still visible across the mountain beside it. The engineering never failed at Vajont. The warnings did. Next time, we look at a bridge that did.